This is Unmuted with my girls, Z and Ross the Boss. Talk about it, ladies.
You. Hello, it's your favorite. You see, I was starting on VS. It's your favorite neighborhood podcaster, Ross the Boss. Checking in with you with my girl Z on Unmuted with Z and Ross the Boss. Hey, y'all like my voice? I was working on that. That was like if I
That
wanted to go into radio host. No.
that was different. Yeah.
Hateful. That hurt a little bit. But anyway, y'all know me. I'll be on my BS. So hello, friends. It's your girl Ross the Boss and Z checking in with you with the Unmuted podcast with Z and Ross the Boss. How y'all
Hi.
doing, friends?
Doing good.
Hey,
Doing good.
okay. I threw you off, Z, didn't I? I
You
threw
threw
you.
me
I
off.
was like, what is this opening? I decided, she was all hopped up on Mountain Dew. She does what she wants. I don't
Oh.
drink Mountain Dew. Don't judge me.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say high C, but
Listen, Hasi gonna pay me at some point, but baby, where is it? Right here. Boom. Y'all hyped up on college. All
I
hyped up
love
on sugar. Y'all know how I do. You know
it.
how I do. But hello, friends and family. And again, welcome to the pod. So Z, as we do.
Mm.
We're going to do our check in to see how we're doing. And as always, y'all, we bring you a special guest. So we're going to introduce her in just a moment.
Mhm.
But we're gonna do our heart check in. So we're gonna start with our guest. Makeba, how's your heart today, sis?
Heart is good. I'm relaxed. I'm feeling decompressed. I'm feeling thankful. No complaints. I'm feeling good.
I got a question for. Are you lighting incense right now in the background? You got candles in your room?
No, it's just like the way my room is set up is very like light and bright the way I like it. So
I like that.
Your energy was just like you was about to give us an Erica Badu moment. I was ready to receive. I was like, go on,
Bothersome.
give us
Yes.
you got a little Baduism.
Yes, a little bit.
I love
Nice.
that.
My girl Z, how's your heart, baby?
I'm feeling good, relaxed, grateful. I'm excited. Ah, my God. If y'all had to take a drink every time that I said I'm excited in a podcast, it's probably gonna be y'all gonna get drunk. But I am good. I'm excited to bring on Makeba. It's been a long time coming, and so I'm feeling grateful, and I'm just ready. I'm pumped.
Okay. Look, I definitely feel you're pumped, girl. I feel very similar. Like this one was okay. In all transparency, y'all, this was supposed to be our first guest.
Yeah.
Oh.
But when I tell you that the doll, when I tell you the doll is booked and busy always, she is the hardest working woman in show business. I'm gonna tell you. So,
Hmm.
to get some time on her calendar is a big move. First of all, so
Oh
thank
my
you so much, sis, for
God.
carving out some time with us. But it was one of those things where Z was like, we need to get Makeba on here. And I was
He
like, yeah,
did
I
say
know
that.
she was supposed to be number one, but calm down. We gonna get her on here. Okay.
Right.
So my heart is really happy to have you on today. And so many parallels in how we got here are based off of you. So again, a true thank you. So for those who have been listening to the pod for a while, and for those of you who are just catching up, there have been a lot of people who have been instrumental in this journey that Z and I have been on, and Makeba is definitely
Oh,
Hmm.
thank
one of those
you.
people who is like top two in that list.
Oh.
So Cap being number one, Makeba being number two, and then my guy Wendell, a strong number three. So that's our top three right
There you
there
go.
of how we got to execution of where we are now. So thank you, Makeba, for
The
being a part of that.
unmuted Mount
Absolutely.
Rushmore.
Correct.
Love it.
so yeah, so thank you for that, sis.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So today I have the honor of introducing our guest speaker, which Rasta Boss already told you a little bit. I had to write this down because anytime that it comes to Makeba, I start going off script, I start crying, all the things. So I wanted to keep it
Oh.
profesh today. So I do have the honor of introducing someone who is not only an incredible guest, but someone that I deeply admire and I am truly blessed to call my friend. Her heart, her passion, her dedication to making a difference inspires me every time we connect. She leads with authenticity, shows up for others with compassion, and reminds us all of the power of using our voices for the good. It brings me so much joy to welcome you, my friend, to Unmuted with Z and Ross the Boss, and I can't wait to hear your story. Not only hear it, but you sharing your story with our family and friends, sharing your wisdom. So please, everyone, help me welcome our very amazing and beautiful friend, Makeba. What?
Oh, thank you. You got me
No,
all
I was
like
clapping.
nervous and
Oh,
just like,
what did I do
oh my
wrong?
God. I felt the
I was
love.
clapping.
I love
Yes.
that.
Clapping.
Thank
I
you.
love that. I love that. So, Makiba, me and Shamel kind of already know the backstory, but can you tell our family and friends what keeps you so busy nowadays? Talk to us a little bit about your beginnings. Who is Makiba and what is IGA?
Oh, definitely. Wow. So what keeps me busy? Who's Makeba? I would definitely say like me, I'm just trying to just do my part, right? And help one student, one person at a time. So a lot of my work is rooted in philanthropy and community. And that's one of the things that kind of keeps me very busy, but also grounded. Philanthropy is not for the weak, right? Because it's not just one of those things where it's like, hey, I want to volunteer for an event. I mean, there are like, some people's vibes, but this was something that kind of was like an all-in thing for me. So it's not just like, oh, just a one-off. It was one of those things. How can systems be created? How can lives be changed and consistently, right? And not just like a one-time type of situation, because unfortunately, people just don't go through stuff one time, right? They're living organisms, they're living people. So they need support like around the clock. And that's like what a lot of my work is rooted in for the International Girls Academy. And that journey kind of got started on a twofold part. So one, just kind of like losing, right, my best friend, like my homie, my ride or die, someone that I plan to like literally make magic in the world with, who's not with us today, but just really kind of starting an organization in her honor, right? And something that we thought about and we dreamed about, right? Like, how could we actually make a world for girls like us, right? How do we make a space for girls like us? And at the time, right, we are 15, just trying to figure it out. But we were like 15 going on 40. So, like we just had big dreams, right? And we wanted to go as far as possible. So in her honor, that is, the energy for the International Girls Academy. Like, how do you create a safe space for girls, despite their background, despite them not having all the bells and whistles, right? Or maybe they don't have the support system that they need. But how do you make people feel empowered? But in order to make the girls feel empowered, you also have to touch their parents, right? Their communities in which they live in. So really kind of bringing back culture as it relates to community, right? Because there's no community without culture, right? If I don't understand like why someone right is the way that they are, or right, or maybe it's a disconnect or a reconnect, right? Culture is so important. So really kind of infusing culture and all of that takes time, right? I wish it was just like a boop 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 a chat GPT vibe, but unfortunately, right, it's something that it's a daily thing. It's a daily commitment to show up. So.
So Makiba, when you talk about the work that you're doing or the International Girls Academy and like what the catalyst was to begin that initiative, you are well into the journey. Right. But there had to be a starting point, and motivation and drive and having inspiration is one piece. But then you got to get off them blocks and you got to get the momentum going. You got to, figure it out. What did that look like in like, hey, I just have this issue that I want a solution for, but like, where do I start? Like,
For sure.
what do we do with this?
Well, definitely. So before like just kind of officially launching IGA, I had the opportunity to do a lot of co-ed work, right? And we had like a co-ed nonprofit. And again, the goal was just like, hey, we're just gonna make a difference. I really want to make this vision happen, for my friends. So initially the vibe was like, hey, let's do co-ed programming. And after a few years, nothing against the fellas, I realized like, okay, girls is the direction, right? Because it's a different communication when you talk about culture. So when you talk about like kind of starting something from the ground up, it took kind of going starting in the co-ed space, right? And then it took kind of going from like, okay, if we want to service all girls, what does that look like? And then it also took like just the backlash, right? Oh, you just service girls, or you just service, so that was like a huge thing. And then kind of when we really like catapulted, right? So after doing like 10 years of research, piloting, going back and forth, right, about the different program, what it would look like, we decided to launch like literally right before COVID. And oh
Mhm.
my, like you talk about
Mhm.
timing, but that's literally like when the spirit spoke to me. Like at the time, personally, I was going through like one of the worst breakups of my life. So it was just like, I had to just, I had to refocus my energy. And I'm so thankful, like looking back on it now, right? It was definitely like a beautiful bliss type of situation, because it was beautiful because really kind of finalizing like, hey, okay, IGA is going to be the name. We're going to do all girls, right? And just really having the foundation, right, ready to go. The
Mhm.
blissful part and the interesting part is that we started right before pandemic. So of course, we have 50 to 50% of the people to say like, why are you doing this? Like, what's
Mhm.
wrong with you? That's very insensitive. I mean, like the amount of friends and the amount of people that blocked me or ghosted me when I had my grand idea was crazy, right? Because they said that, it's insensitive to start a girls' organization. And my response is that it's insensitive to think that you think during a pandemic, especially during a pandemic, that specifically girls don't need sanitary pads, right? Or girls, don't need to eat. Or what about those girls who, unfortunately, they cannot go out the house, right, during COVID because this is a lockdown, right? So just really kind of learning how to, take what people say, but also like not take it to the heart, right? So that was like that was a growing process, right? When it comes to developing something, especially when something is so close to your heart and you want the world to love it because you love it.
Yeah.
But the reality is like when you are building something, you cannot build for the validation of others, right? You have to build and you have to forge with a clear vision, right? And again, like
Mhm.
it's great to say like, hey, 6 years later, but to your point, we were definitely challenged, right? We had people to say like the International Girls Academy, yada yada, who are y'all, right? And we had like just different people. However, I was very clear with people, right? Like my whole sentiment was like, hey, we are doing this because it needs to be done, right? We are doing this for that student who unfortunately cannot advocate for themselves, right? If you have any reservation, if you need anything to be clarified, come to the party, come like, come to an event, like show up. So I think that is like a huge thing. And that's something that I understand, like when it comes to founders and starting something, there's a lot of things that you have to prove, right? We still have to prove stuff. But I think when you're charting out that proof, don't get so lost into like, oh, I have to prove that. No, do the work and everything else will follow. Like I promise, like that has been the biggest thing. Like do the work when you're exhausted, do the work when everyone has canceled you out. Continue to do the work and you do it loud and proud, right? Because my whole personal thing is that vibration is everything. So if I believe that I can do it, I can do it. If I believe that,
Mhm.
magic can happen, it's gonna happen. Right. If I don't, then I don't. So yes.
I love that so
How did you
much.
get your first how did y'all get y'all's first group of girls?
Mhm.
Especially during the pandemic to like,
Yes.
you need the kids to buy in too, right?
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
like how
And
did that
shout out to
happen?
the yes, and shout out to the first group of students who literally like and their parents who were just down for the call, the idea. So literally, like my dad at the time, like he was a teacher at a school. I was like, Daddy, like I need you to reach out to the parents, or I need you to hold it down. Like I reached out to my sister, like all the educators I knew. I was like, yo, this is what I'm trying to do. And they're like, Makita, I said, I know, but for me, like every time I ask people for support, they're like, all right, see you, Makita, I got you. So they literally were able to, hold it down, right, to spread the word. I said, just get me in front of the parents and I will do the rest. Like I promise, just set up the meeting and I'll do the rest. So make a long story short, the rest was history. It was literally like phone a friend, phone a friend. We did flyers at the time, but the core group and the first group again came from, close colleagues, friends, family, who knew students and who were engaged, right? And also just for some of the students we previously serviced, so we also did have a start in that regard, but our core group came from like phone a friend, family. And I thank the mothers, right? And I thank the first students for not only just like seeing the vision, but also just being able to grow with the organization, right? And I think that was super cool because again, I'm over here talking about like, yeah, girls, we're gonna go to Guyana, we're gonna go, and they're like, what? Like Miss Green, like we can't even go outside. I'm like, we are gonna go to Guyana. I'm like, I promise you that this lady is crazy, right? And it's like I know that parents were like, oh my gosh, she drinks too much Starbucks, but Lord and behold, I said, well, we're going to go to Guyana. I was locked in. I said, as soon as we were cleared, we were going to Guyana. Make a long story short, I shot my shot and energy. Remember how I talked about energy and vibration? I told the universe, I told the parents, I told the kids, I told the kid, like I told everybody, I said, I will get an airline that's going to support us. Now, at the time, I didn't have an airline that was going to support us, but I was like, I am going to get this airline. And I promise you, make a long story short, I shot a DM, like just on some blank, like just shooting my shot type of situation. Shot a DM, and this person happened to be the vice president of an airline. And then not only did he happen to be a vice president of the airline, he happened to be an alma mater of my college. So I'm like, yes, I'm like, just need him to like reply. And that was my thing or whatever. I'm like, look, I just need to get you on a call. He was like, no, I'm going to send an email. I said, no, I need you to understand the vision. So I just need 10 minutes of your time, 10 minutes. And I promise, like, if you're not vibing with it, like, I understand. So make a long story short, 10-minute call. He loved it. He passed me on to the head of the philanthropy, and the rest was history. Right. And again, I share that story and I share it loud and proud because I was so locked in, right? I was so determined to really have the students open to understand that their environment was bigger, right? That was such a huge thing because I've had the honor to travel, and especially going through a pandemic, just to be outside, but more than that, to understand like, look, sis, the world is huge, right? There is no limitations. But the thing is to talk about this huge world and not to be able to see it is crazy, right? Because it's just all
Mhm.
theory, but to actually be able to experience it, right? To literally start something from nothing was just beautiful, like out of this world. And shout out to again, I won't mention the airline, but it was the airline that really took a shot on us. So thank y'all.
That's amazing. Talking about shooting that shot and that DM.
Mhm. And you see, and listen, for the folks, for our family and friends listening, let me just say this: shooting your shot don't always mean shooting your shot at a
Mhm.
future potential partner or relationship. It is shooting your shot and believing in the thing. If you believe in it, you can make other people believe in it.
Yep.
But I think that sometimes people are so quick to give up because they hear no, one or two times. Or, you get those people who are online talking about, well, don't nobody support me. And it's like, well, do you support you? Do
Right.
you believe in what you're doing? So, regardless of who's standing, patting you on the back or telling you that your thing is fantastic, you show up anyway. So,
Yeah.
highlight to you, Makeba, for not only you believing in a vision, but like being persistent in it. Even when, like you said, those people were saying, like, people that you thought would always have
Yeah.
your back when they didn't, you believing in your why.
And then
That's dope.
I think that happens to a lot of us. I think that they're especially like close friends or close family that you thought they were always gonna have my back and then not. And then how do you work through that? Because emotionally, I feel like it still does something to you. It could be very strong, but
Mhm.
how did you or how do you manage with that nowadays? I know you mentioned just sticking to your vision, but at some point, did it kind of feel like, damn, like it's a little setback, or can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because I know that a lot of us deal with that, and it's like you don't want to cut off somebody, but it's also like, damn, you're of no benefit for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Think it definitely takes time, honestly, like when it comes to the emotions. And I think I've learned to meet people where they are and understand, like, look, okay, if you're not for the vision, then at least can I add you to a subscriber for the newsletter, right? If you're not, if that's not your vibe, and not personalizing it. So I think when you understand that everybody is a part of the success, everybody is a part, and they may not be a part of the inner team, right? But everybody is a part of the journey. So as equally as it hurt, like, and it still hurts to this day, like how people again, like I thought we were here with it. who, they have a different vision in mind, or whatever the case may be, I equally thank them too, because it allowed me to have grace. It allowed me to understand, like, look, not everybody is going to understand the vision, and that's okay, right? And my job is not to convince anybody, right? Because to convince, when you understand like your role in the world, and you understand, like, look, what you are here to do, for me to convince anybody would be an insult to injury, right? Instead, right, the goal, and I encourage people, when navigating that emotion, is again, like, you keep doing the work, but also provide grace. Maybe some people come around, because it often happens. People say, like, okay, like, I see what you're doing over there. And it's like, yes, sis, you can always join. You always welcome to the party. And then some people still like, no, thank you. Will talk to me in 10 years. Like, okay, sis, see you in 10, right? But just understanding, like, not to have a heavy heart. Like, my mom always taught me, like, Makeba, like, let your heart be light. Right? Just let it be light, because again, to vibrate high, you cannot hold on to what anyone says. Like, you just can't, right? Because it shows in your
Mhm.
face. You think about it. You don't need anybody's, memory to kind of take up space in your brain. It's like, all right, cool. That's not the and again, it's easy said than done. So I'm not gonna sit here and say, like, oh, I just brush it off. No, sometimes I cry. I'm not gonna hold you. I was like, I thought we was. But kind of after working past that, now I just understand, and because I'm a little bit more seasoned, I'm just like, okay, I breathe, I release, and I'm just like, all right, it's time to move on. Cool.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's dope, friend.
Yeah.
Listen, when you said that, you said, "Let their memory be a lesson." Mhm.
Yep.
And put them where they are until they, are in a space where, your paths cross again, or if not, the lesson happened in the moment that it was supposed to.
The takeaway for me was see you in 10. So, Makiba, I know that we talked a little bit about the International Girls Academy and, why you started it, but I really want our family and friends out there. We know because we're heavily involved, but if you had to, like, 5-minute elevator pitch it to somebody, what would you say the International Girls Academy is all about? And who do you currently have and that kind of stuff? I think it's to just paint the picture for our family and friends out there.
So, when you think about the International Girls Academy, think about not just a nonprofit, and just not like another nonprofit, but a sisterhood. So, for IGA, we focus on STEM, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy. So, to really help elevate the next generation by giving them tools, right? It's so important to have tools and the ability to do something, in the world, right? So, when a student goes through our program, they're able to start their own business. They're able to get exposed to STEM, right? They're able to have actual hands-on experiences, event production, that when they, get older, or if they need to make money, or if they need to support themselves or their families, they're able to do so. They're able to actually have skills, before the age of 18. So we currently service girls from 6 years old is our youngest. We don't really advertise it like that, but that's our youngest, to about 18 years old. Although we have students who formerly were in the program, they work with us, which is an honor, right, to be able to offer them stipends, internships, and just really providing a sisterhood, right, despite what a student looks like, despite where a student is from, and making sure that they feel supported. So, again, I think it's one thing to tell people, to tell girls that they can achieve anything, but if you're not putting them in rooms where they see themselves, then I think everything else is just advertisement, right? It's one of those things like, hey, get a good grade. Okay, what am I getting a good grade for? Because my mom never left the neighborhood, so why should I? Right? Or, I never seen what you're talking about, so how do I know it's true? Literally, like, through corporate sponsors, through partners, we're able to provide this experiences so that students can see a world outside of their own, right? Because it's really important for the girls to get the exposure that they need, and to feel that they are supported. Another thing that we do is we give out scholarships to girls. So we don't want money to ever be a barrier, because money, unfortunately, it's a thing, right? And it's a thing in our communities. And we want to try to alleviate money as much as possible, right? Because it shouldn't be a reason why you should, especially at 18. Right, 18, you should not be thinking about, do I go to college or do I work? You should be able to say, like, look, I want to go to college because I can go to college, right? But
Mhm.
unfortunately, we know that that is not the reality of students. So our hope is through trainings, through exposure, not only can girls have the skills that they need to flourish, but that they can also have the resources, right, the finances to do their thing, right, and to make the load a little bit easier for the next generation. Through our campaign for a box of hope and love, we also give out dorm essentials, and that is such a huge thing, right? Because as a first year student, especially staying on campus, you definitely should not have to worry about like how am I going to fund my room, because it's expensive, right? It's a stressor.
Mhm.
So again, like how do we serve as support for young people, right? And not just giving a listen, it's no shade or no anything like that, right? To people who lean on that, right? Who speak, but it's like, hey, like less speaking and more doing, right? Because the girls, they going through real life stuff, right? And they need resources. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing and for creating that space. I know I was there, and student loans are a real thing. I never had anybody in my family that went through college, so I always tell my Kiba I wish I would have had International Girls Academy to kind of guide me through the things. And it was just kind of like I was just going with the flow. If at registration they were telling me, "Well, this is what you got to do," okay, well, I guess I got to do that, and then ending up with a huge student loan debt and having to figure that out
Yeah.
was a real thing. So luckily I'm glad the girls have you and that you can guide them through those things.
Definitely. And I think there's one last thing I just wanted to add. Again, like just back on the piece for community, I think people like yourself, right? It helps, right? It helps embody the Nguzu Saba, right? Because I know a lot of people say like, oh, Makeba, but I would definitely disagree. I think it's people like you all, right, who make the journey, who help build IGA, because a vision is nothing without people who don't back it,
Mm,
right? And I think that
Mhm.
that is something that people forget. I think people, organizations that's been around for thousands, of years, they forget that small point, right? And they forget to really like honor, people along the way, right? People focus on quote unquote heads of work. No, it's just like where the people at? Who's the people,
mm,
right? Who's the
Mhm.
people who's willing to volunteer their time, right? Who's the people who's willing to pour in? And I think that is something, like again, I always appreciate you guys for showing up, because it's not just, you guys are not just talking, you're able to provide authentic, transparent stories to the students. And in a world where everything is just so like politically correct, right? They know, like little people, they know what's up, right? So to
mhm.
actually
Mhm.
have, two human beings who not only just provide, your stories and your experiences, but you are transparent in that regard, right? You're supportive in that regard. And I think that's something that, needs to be like highlighted and, acknowledged, right? For whoever is listening, is one thing to show up. But if you're looking for people and how to do it right, I definitely think that you two are you model that really great, right? Because you just don't show up. You are a support, you're a resource. And I think that is something when you're a multiplier in the space, it is dope, right? The fact that you guys are multipliers within this space and your different ecosystems is hot. So thank you, ladies.
Oh,
Well, thank you, Makiba.
thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you. I think that I think I speak for Z and I both when I say that we were led to the International Girls Academy by someone who also believed in the mission. Let me introduce you to this organization. So the importance of word of mouth and people leveraging their networks, because everything isn't always about money, because sometimes the most valuable thing that you have is your connections,
Yep.
because money can be taken away
Mhm.
always.
Yep.
But like, what are your connections? Because I know a lot of times putting the cart before the horse of like, how we got connected. But a lot of times, the ask from, IGA for us is just, can you come and listen to the girls? That's it. Like just listening to their pitches, listening to their stories. There'll be times where, Makiba will just text us like, "Hey, I got the girls in the classroom." And for those who first of all, go check them out on all of the socials on LinkedIn, and check out the website, beautiful website, where you get to hear and see a lot of the work that's being done there. But there'll be times where Makiba will just text and be like, "Hey, I got the girls in class. could y'all jump on a call real quick? And we're just like, yep. I know Z has been at the grocery store. One time I was like, Makeba, I'm at the airport. I got about 15 minutes before we about to board. Just yes. And but it's just making yourself available, and everything is not about a monetary contribution all the time. It is, to Makeba's point, giving from where you can while you can. And so I just want to say thank you for those opportunities, because I know our very first event that we did with you all, where we were just listening to these young ladies give business pitches that they had worked so hard for. And I
Mhm.
was just like, we're listening to little entrepreneurs
Mhm.
who are selling these businesses, or working on their pitches for these businesses. And some of them might decide that they don't want to go in that direction. But like all of those other little hidden lessons that they're learning in
Oh,
doing this, like working together, like when you hear me and Z refer to each other as sis, we 100% borrowed that from the International Girls Academy, because all of the girls refer to each other as sis. They refer to Makeba that way because, again, who better to understand what you have gone through or will go through than somebody who, again, looks like you? Right.
Mm.
So somebody in your age demographic, somebody from your neighborhood, somebody from, right. So to see like the girls like show up for each other, and you see, I think the first event, me and Z, like we stayed back after to talk about it, and there was one, it was a group of four girls, and you could see that some of them maybe had a little bit more confidence than, like, one of the girls. And one of the girls was sort of like, stuttering, and she was sort of nervous. And I remember the other girl put her hand on her shoulder and was like, you got this.
Mhm.
And then was just like, we gonna do this together. And then you just see like her like shake her head, and her confidence came from somebody just saying, I see you and I got you, and you're not in this by yourself. And I remember after that call, Z and I stayed back, and I said, damn it, they got us forever.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Aw.
It's-
I think
we are
I
in
had
this
never
forever now.
smiled as big, and I think we were like, my cheeks
Mm-hmm.
hurt from smiling so much. And then so we're
Mm-hmm.
like, whatever they need, they got us. And I think it's been that way ever since. But another thing that was very important for me and Shamel as we were talking about it, and Makeba, was we wanted to not, it was never going to be a one and done. We wanted to be those people to support the girls through everything, because we come from marginalized community. We know that the people on your corner are not that many, not consistent anyway. A lot of us, didn't have a dad, didn't have a mom, or whatever the case may be. The support system wasn't there 100%. And then so we wanted to be that support system for the girls. And that was really important to us. And we told Makiba, yeah, you have us for life. Like, I don't even know why you ask, can you? You should just say, this is the date, show up, right? But of course,
Mm-hmm.
Makiba's too graceful to just tell us that. But um the thing is that you created this ecosystem that not only inspires the girls, it inspired us. I can say that International Girls Academy inspired a lot of the things that we created after the fact. Rise and Rain, having this space unmuted, me and Shamel, I think it's safe to say that we were just doing our job. We log into our 9 to 5. We didn't have a vision of any of the things that have played out. And then it was once we
Mm-hmm.
started seeing and being around you and the girls, like you all inspired us in a way that we would start having certain conversations, and we were like, dang, like if the girls can do it and we're over here telling them you got this, is like, why can't we, right? And then when Shamel talks about that little girl that put her hand on the shoulder, that's me and Shamel. Like every
Sheila, yeah.
time every time we feel
Mm-hmm.
like maybe, like I tell her sometimes, okay, so I have this idea. You can say no. And she's like, absolutely, let's go for it. And then vice versa. And I'm like, girl, why are you asking me? Like, that's a no brainer. And then it's like, it's just, you move different when you have that support.
No,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I definitely, I love like how everything has been activated for y'all, right? I think that's the goal. I think obviously like you two have always like service was I think was already like in you guys. It was clear, right? Because you would have never answered the call. I think sometimes as people we just need to be activated, right? We just need to be
Mm-hmm.
like fired up. So I love this for you guys. I'm so happy and so proud.
Thank you. Thank you. So we appreciate you, Makeba, because without, to Z's point, without that that introduction to some amazing young ladies. And I'm gonna tell you, for our family and friends who are listening, we will always provide opportunities to volunteer. So if you are following us on the Rise and Rain Network, which we will drop in the link below, for opportunities to connect with nonprofits who are out here doing some amazing work. If you want to be truly inspired, all you need to do is join one event.
Mm-hmm.
One event. And I'm telling you, forever it will change your life. And I'm not just saying this because me and Z felt that way. Every volunteer who we have brought into this space has been like, whenever they need, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
And they have been like, we have, waited into the like, hey, y'all, they need us this Tuesday. Say less. I cleared my calendar to be there. There have been events that the girls have done on Sunday afternoons, and just, hey, I need some people to sign in on a Sunday afternoon just to listen to the girls,
Yeah.
pitches that they're going to do. And they're just like, say less. Yes. Right. So, it is a testament of the experience that people have and what you all have poured into these young ladies to talk about a 6-year-old. And I know that me and Z beat your ear up about that little 6-year-old,
No,
and we are
yeah.
trying
Yes.
to get her on the podcast. I didn't say her name
Yes.
because I wanted it to be a surprise, Makeba.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking, friend. I'm joking. But I remember looking and being like, that baby is 6 years old,
Yeah.
out here pitching her own business idea up against people who are high school seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And she is holding her own
Yeah.
solo mission. She was not a part of a group. It was a solo. It was way past her bedtime, baby, but she was ready to pitch her business. And it is just awe inspiring just to see the girls do things that we are still trying to teach adults to do. There was one young lady who was doing all of the girls were doing their presentations from home. And there was one young lady who her brothers were making noise in the background in the midst of her presentation. That baby paused and said, I would like to apologize to you all for the noise in the background. I'm going to continue my presentation, but my brothers are a little rowdy. And I said, she's 9. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And I said, we're out here trying to teach grown people,
To do
and
that.
nothing wrong with that. But
Right.
we're trying to teach grown people how to do public speaking and how to do presentations. And this baby paused because she was aware of what was happening and said, hey, I need to, right? I said, hands down, as I was scoring the sheet, and I was, we were blessed to be able to be judges for the competition. I said, baby, you getting high scores on that. Because again, there are a lot of people who would have been, completely thrown off that the environment,
Yeah.
Right.
was not perfect for them to be able to do an uninterrupted presentation. But just to be able to see how amazing these girls are. There was one young lady who I had heard her pitch prior to, so that 15 minutes before I board the plane.
Yes.
I was so blown away that even walking onto the plane, I was still giving feedback in my seat up until they closed the door to the plane. And I said, baby, you could roll your business today.
Mm-hmm.
It is ready right now to go. But just her confidence and like how she incorporated her life into her business pitch and just
Yeah.
the professionalism. And I said, brand your thing right now and wear it to every presentation that you have going forward, because yours is ready right now. You are tough, sis. And just to see her in that pitch, and then she came wearing her branded materials, and I said, go off, right? But you never know just how a kind word, a little inspiration pours so much into these young people. But it's also because Makeba and team have set the foundation, and they have amazing families who have done the same. Because Makeba, you called out one time, it was a chin check. And I was like, I see the direct chin check. It's indirect chin check. Because Makeba said, all of our girls do not come from the same background. Everybody's experience is not the same. So don't assume that just because a girl is a part of the International Girls Academy that she comes from a single parent home. That's not the story for every girl here. Every girl here doesn't mean that they, don't have support, or don't have, or they go to this type of school. That's not true.
Mhm.
And you were like, they come from diverse backgrounds. We are not a monolith. And I was like, say it with your chest, Makeba. Get us together. So I was like, I love that because again, the exposure of like, girls from all different backgrounds need that level of support, or young people from
Yeah.
all need that support from all different backgrounds. It does not just mean that those who, grew up in situations that people will look at as being underprivileged are the only people who need that type of investment, because that's not true.
That is so true.
Hmm.
And I know, Makiba, how much you pour into the girls. And I know because I've seen it, that then they graduate and then they become part of the staff. For instance, I remember clearly Alyssa, which was one of the girls that she was in high school when we met her. And she interviewed me and Shamel. And I was like, Shamel, the way that she knew how to ask the right questions, like she did it like a
Hmm.
pro. And then now to receive
Hmm.
her emails of she's prepping this event and she's doing the logistics. I feel so proud. So if I feel proud, I know that you are like ecstatic of like seeing their progress. But what do you want the girls to walk away with every time they leave International Girls Academy or they do move into their next era of their lives? I know that some of them might become business owners because they're ready already, to be honest, but some of them might not go that route. But what is it that you want them to take away from being an International Girls Academy alumni, or what is it that in your heart you want them to take away?
I would say like a few things I would want the girls to take away. When they spread their wings in the world, I would say like one, to always remember to come back home. Right. And I'm not talking about physically, I'm not talking about monetarily, but that's one of the things I'm very heavy. Even with my little 6 year olds, I'm like, when you get older, remember, right? And it doesn't even have to be IGA. But the thing is that you have to come back home and you have to pay it forward to another person.
Hmm.
Right. So even if it's not a girl or who, but you have to pay the deed back, right? Because you are not going to become everything that you become on your own, right? So a level of humbleism, you got to come back home, right? You got to circle back. So that's the first thing, right? So to make sure that every girl feels grounded, it's great to be confident, but also be humble, right? Also have that willingness to give back to the people who have helped you become who you become. The second thing is just for every student, I think like one of the things that one of the biggest gifts my parents gave to me, and it's priceless. And I smile and I get excited about it year after year after year, is the ability to believe in myself that I could do anything like that. Oh my god, that was. I mean, some people say it's delusional. Some people say you can't, like whatever. But that is one of the huge things that I give to the students. I'm like, yo, if you want to, whatever you want to do it.
Hmm.
Like, be delusional. Do all of like literally there is no such thing as you can't.
Yeah.
Like, and that was the big, like, that is a huge thing because when you understand, like, again, who you are and you understand that you can actually make it happen, it's beautiful. So that's something that I tell all the girls, like, yo, y'all could do anything in the world, right? I don't care about the whatever, like, whatever you desire to do, it will happen. Like, just believe, be consistent, show up. The third thing is that you have nothing to prove to people, right? Whoever does not understand, and we go through this a lot with the girls, right? Because as you can imagine, when you're under 18, you think that your friendships that you have, like, that this is
Mhm.
it. And it's like, ladies, sorry. Like, I understand it hurts because I was there too. I still be there. But like, like, it's okay, right? You're gonna lose
Yeah.
folks along the way, but it's just one of those things, like, you're not here to convince nobody, right? So
Mhm.
like
Hmm.
that's huge. I tell the little people, I tell their parent, I stand firm in that. Like, we are not here to convince. If this is not for, if whatever vision you're kicking at somebody does not align, that is okay. And you have to be okay with that, right? The show
Yeah.
will go on. The
Hmm.
other thing is to give yourself grace, right? I think as a girl, as women, we don't talk about that a lot. I think we talk about it, but do we really know what that means? Like, do you really, really know what it means to give yourself grace? Like, that means, like, for us, like, we tell the girls, because their biggest thing is like, Miss Green, I don't want to make a mistake. Everybody's gonna be looking at me. And I'm like, sis, okay, made a mistake. Everybody looking at you. Looks, you look beautiful. You did the best. Like, what's up? They're
Mhm.
like, oh, but we wanna make you proud. I'm like, you already listen, you did that 10, you did the first step. You took your shot, right? And that's the thing, like just really kind of implementing grace. Like, listen, you will drop the ball. It's gonna happen. Trust me, the world is gonna make sure you know that you dropped the ball. But you, right, you have to understand that when the ball is dropped, because you're human, you're not a robot, it's okay, right? And when we say it's okay, and it's nothing to blame yourself about. It's nothing to say, because sometimes, like as women, we say like, what did I do wrong, or what said I, sis, you just made a mistake,
Right.
right? And sometimes people
Mhm.
on the other end, they just not receptive to that mistake, and that's okay. That's a part of the process, right? And I'm really like strong, and again, like the little people, they just be looking at me like, what you talking about, Miss Green? I'm like, it's okay. I'm just exposed, like, I just get, really preachy, but just really, really, real, right? We have real authentic conversations. These are things that I actively tell
Yeah.
the students. And the last thing is to remember to have fun. I think like all of this, is cool. It's great to be great. It's great to have dreams happen, but you have to live a life that you are proud of and that you could say like, wow, like I enjoyed the sun. I was able to get ice cream, right? I gained a little weight. I lost a little weight. Like understand not to take yourself so serious because at the end of the day, like, nothing is guaranteed. Right. And understanding like, look, you got to live every 24 like that. So those are the things that I like we actively tell the girls, and I have to credit my parents because they gave me the biggest gift. And I try to give that biggest gift to all girls, right? Because again, just having people to root for you, right? And to be like, you can literally do anything is what? It's exciting. So
Yeah.
yes.
And I
Mhm.
think you're
Mhm.
also showing the girls that. Because when we tell y'all, when Shamel said that she is busy and booked, she is busy and booked. So I do want us to shout
Yes.
out and highlight the greatness that is Makeba as well. Because I know the girls look at everything you do. Because we look at everything you do and we're like, shit, we're tired. Makeba's tired. like, so
Mhm.
can you talk to us a little bit about what you're currently, besides International Girls Academy? What else is on
For sure.
Makeba's plate?
So currently, I decided to hop into the medical field, right? And for context, the reason why is because as a woman of color, right, when you're in pain or when you go to the hospital, our situations are not taken as serious, right? Or it's just like, are you really feeling this way? Or just take this drug. And, from what a medical professional told me, it not only inspired me, but it was just like, okay, I always wanted to contribute to science, right? So this was inevitable, but it was just like, in what capacity was it going to be? Like, was I going to be a scientist? Was I going to go to space? Like, it was something. It was going to happen. It's going to be. So, anyways, and we talked about activation earlier, right? Because you talked about like how like, hey, like when you got associated with IGA, like boom, it clicked. So it was one of those things. It was like boom, it clicked. I'm like, sis, think that she's just gonna say this to me? Like, no, sis, like at all. Like I prayed about it and I said, I'm gonna start this journey. Now, mind you, like remember how we talked about manifestation? This is something that happened 2 years ago. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna land a program. I'm just gonna shoot my shot. And at first, like the denial letters were crazy. It was just like, no. And I'm like, "Dad, like, y'all don't want me to be great." And then, I paused and I said, you know what? I'm going to be great. I'm going to get into a program. And not only am I going to get into a program, get a scholarship, like I'm going to go full throttle. So boom, I go back into it. And because I don't have a background, like, in medicine, I had to, take several other steps, right? So that meant me, taking prerequisites. And specifically, my goal and what I'm doing now is I'm in a nursing program. I'm also in a program to become a phlebotomist in EKG. Because again, the ultimate goal is for me to become an OBGYN. So again, for context, when the doctor that I went to, she was an OBGYN. And I know when I laid it out for people and they say, like, why are you gonna be a nurse and a doctor? Da, da, da. And it's just like, that's the thing that I was kind of previously talking about. People are gonna say a lot of stuff, right? And they're gonna say things don't make sense, or you're wasting time, or you don't know what you're doing, or just all of the things, right? And it's just like for me, especially being in this medical program, I've learned that you have to do like what is right for your path, right? I tell people like three, if I had like an endowment or like, if dough was like that, then of course I would love to go to medical school straight through. Right. But the reality is that my navigation just looks a little bit different. And the goal is that, for everyone watching, don't be discouraged, when the navigation looks different. Right. Don't, because the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, nursing school is not for the weak. It's what you know. Like A and P, as you can see behind me, it is not for the weak, like at all. However, I think when you do something because the spirit motivates you, when you do something from the heart, like it is all worth it. Like I am so excited in this space of science. I literally tell all the girls what I learned and just the exposure that I'm able to provide them, and just really, really thinking about when we talk about limitations, how you can do it all, you could do it all. I was able to. I'm a part of a group where there's hundreds of nurses that start as RNs and they become doctors, right? So I found community for people who are in alignment with my vision. So I say this as food for thought. If you don't have that community, it's hard. You think like, oh my God, what am I doing? You like, like the noise, it starts to bother you, right? Because after a
Mm-hmm.
while, you say like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. And then you got people that never went to nursing school, never took A&P. And they say like, well, my sister. And it's like, I appreciate you, sis. I really do. But no, thank you. Right. Respectfully. So I think like that is like the biggest thing, just like literally balancing, right? Being a full-time student, running an organization, and then also the studying that's involved, right? But I say this not as being overwhelmed, but I say this as I can't wait to make the contribution to the medical field, right? I think when it comes to vaginal health, every woman should feel supported, right? Every woman should not, if there is a diagnosis, if something needs to be clarified, you should have the right diagnosis. You should have the right information given to you. And then second, you should have the options, right? As to like, what does that treatment look like, right? Or let's actually further investigate. And then most importantly, I think you should have a person who looks like you, especially like as a future OBGYN, just having the honor, right, to bring life into the world. Like super dope, right? Super, super fly, right? To have someone that's not only just, here to deliver for a paycheck or because it's a title, but rather, that takes honor, right? I think anytime a birth is made, like that is an honor, right? And I can't wait to be a part of that journey. And I say this like not as everything is like perfect and peachy. Like I know I'm a smiley and bubbly person, but just on a serious note, it's just like, I stand on if it is to be, it's up to me, right? So if you really want
Mm-hmm.
something to happen, you gotta do it. If it takes 10 hours of studying, if it's you gonna make it do what it do, right? And anyone who questions that or it doesn't align, they're gonna fall off, and that's okay too. Like invite them to the graduation, send them the Amazon list, right? Period. There's a lot of people like like literally, you know. And just FYI, to the viewers, anyone else feel inspired, girl gonna need a stethoscope. If you feel it, listen. Yeah, I just gotta put it out there. You feel me? Like digress.
I love that.
Go on. Go on. I think we can definitely make that stethoscope happen. I think we
Yes.
can make that
I think we
stethoscope
I
happen.
think we got it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're gonna make that stethoscope happen. So, Makeba, first of all, thank you for being you and sharing you. Not just
Thanks.
with the girls, but the girls who are girls now who will become women in the future, but for the women who that call went unanswered for them when they were girls, and who are inspired by just watching you move. And thank you to your parents for pouring
Yes.
into you so that you can pour back out, into the world. You are
Thank
an
you.
extraordinary person, and we are so
Thank you.
very thankful that we get to call you a friend, and truly call you a
Likewise.
friend, because
For
again,
real.
sometimes you just have space fillers, but 100% being able to call you a friend, because I know when the call goes up and I'm like, Makeba, I don't understand this. Or Zio's like, oh, I don't know how that works. And you're just like, for the little bit of time that you do have, you will offer it back to us. And we appreciate that so much. Because a woman out here making the world shake, girl. So
Mhm.
Thank
thank you.
you.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I agree. When you talk about support and women lifting each other, that's definitely what you've created. And I think we're easy to tear each other up. I see it a lot on social media too. We're easy to tear each other up as women, but it's like, how about we lift each other up? That's great, right? We're not in competition. We can all win. And then so I think that is still a big, big problem. So I'm happy that through the International Girls Academy and all the other things that you do, because on top of that, she has a actual full-time job too. Let me just tell you that, because she didn't even say that part, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
So a lot of the times when we think that's that we
That's number
know.
3.
That's that we
That's number
know.
3. Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
So again, sometimes we think we're too busy, but it's like when you really want to get things done, that will be your life. You are really busy, but it's all worth it at the end. So I think what you're creating is just amazing. So as I always tell you, like, I'm super, super blessed to call you a friend, but also proud of all the work that you're doing. And damn it, why do you have to be in Jersey? Like, how am I ever gonna hire you as my OBGYN? Like, how is that gonna happen?
Right.
Mhm.
Look at Shamel's
I think
face.
you both. Yes.
But
Yeah.
so we do want to ask you another question, but then after that, we're gonna go into the fun stuff, because we're not gonna let you walk away without the very uncomfortable questions. I'm just kidding. Without the cut up part as well. So
Okay.
Makiba,
I'm
here you
here
go.
for it.
Here you go, Makiba. So for the women listening who are constantly showing up for everyone else, what would you say to encourage them to also show up for themselves?
For sure. So I think like now that I'm like officially in the science space, so it's one thing when people say like, "Hey, you got to pour into yourself." Like, no, 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 like literally, right? Because the body is a system, right? And that system is going to operate when it's set up for success, right? When it's nourished, right? When you get rest. So as much as I go hard in the paint, as much as people may go hard in the paint and showing up for the world, it's very important to take a second for yourself. So even if it looks
Mhm.
different, right? So maybe that second is like, hey, I'm gonna just go on D&D. I'm gonna write in my journal, whatever, or I'm gonna go take a walk, or I'm gonna create content, or I'm gonna do whatever that is. You have to have something for yourself. Something that is, I don't want to say selfishly for you, but something that's your thing, right? And just feel okay. Especially, my sisters are both mothers, right? I know sometimes moms, they feel really awkward about that, like, oh, I don't want to feel awkward. I'm like, girl, drop the kids off. Like, you feel like, do you, right? You have to have like these different avenues, because what happens is then that's when I think the overwhelm starts to kind of like fill in, right? And I think that's when
Mhm.
the depression or all these other things, because you're not taking the time out to realize you a human too, sis. Right? We need you to be hydrated. We need you to, whatever your thing is. Like, I literally tell like my people, like, you have to have your thing to have your head in the game. Like, what is your thing to keep your head in the game? When you need a moment, if it's a walk, if it's a talk, like whatever your vibe is, you gotta identify what you need, keep your head in the game.
It's a system. Take care of it. Pour into yourself, babies. It's okay. Especially for moms. Pour into yourself.
Yeah, I know
Mhm.
You're
mother's guilt is real shit.
It's a
Like, it is.
thing.
It's a
Yeah.
thing. Like, even when you take the trip, you're like on the back of your head, damn, are they okay? Like, what's going on? And so I feel you. It's a thing. But also think about this. Who's gonna be there for your babies if you break, or if you get sick, or if something happens to where you have to be away from them longer? Like, that's one of the things that it's a constant fear, right? Not being there for your children.
Right.
But if you're not taking care of you for like a specific amount of time, how are you going to show up for them after?
absolutely. So the queen of the cut up. Am I getting tagged in?
Yep. Tag, you're it.
Am I getting tagged in?
You're
All
getting
right,
cut.
Makiba. So
Feel
now
the
this is the
transition
light.
coming.
Yeah, you felt it. You felt it. It was build up. Build up to the bullshit. Cause here I am. Bang. She's ready. All right. It's never that bad though. I promise. It's never that crazy. Now once we get 50 episodes in though, baby, you're not gonna
Yeah.
be able to tell me nothing. She's gonna be hyped up on high C juice boxes and ready for action. So be you
She's
are
already
now
there.
put on notice.
She's
Mm-hmm.
already
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm. Hush your mouth. See, hush your mouth. So Makiba, the first question in the cut up part of the conversation. Favorite artist.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You,
So
you
is
see, I
that
just
like
gave you one.
currently or like
See,
back
I
in the
knew you was gonna.
day?
She always gotta say
No, we're
that.
not doing clarifying questions. First thing that come off top. Who was the first person that came off top?
Oh my god. So it's gonna definitely be Drake. Like, because like
Ha! Thank you. Be- Okay, this has been a debate before between me and Shamel. We did talk about the Drake versus Kendrick situation. I personally, I listen to Kendrick, but personally, I lean more towards Drake. I was looked at sideways, so
yes.
I'm sorry. I said what
Drake.
I said. She said
Yeah.
what she said.
Judgment free zone. I'm just gonna stay there. But the first person, Aubrey.
You know what it is? Like Degrassi, like was a vibe, the exposure.
She's trying to defend
Yep.
it. It's okay, Makeba. You don't
Right.
gotta defend it. It is what it is.
Go off.
Yeah.
Aubrey is what she said. This is the first thing. Like Makeba has done so many magical things, except for this shit that she just gave me just now. Aubrey.
Yeah.
Okay, segment over. So I'm joking. I'm joking. Z, your question's up. Go ahead,
Dang.
Z. Go
Okay,
ahead.
that was very passive aggressive, but okay. All right.
Right.
Okay. So we're gonna change it up a little bit right here. So think about this.
Yeah.
Who was your teenage crush versus who is your current crush?
Okay. Wow.
Why are you looking at her like that, Shamel? This is a judgment
If
free
Aubrey's
zone.
name come up again, I'm gonna throw my mic.
No. Oh, and we're talking about crush in terms of celebrities.
Yes. I mean, anybody. I mean, I don't know if you want to shoot your shot to your actual crush. Go for it. I don't know. This is unmuted.
Okay. Okay. So I would definitely say like teenage, so high school vibes. So one, so just as a for context, my parents like they didn't allow me to listen to like, the rated R music, right? I didn't really I was late to the party when it came to music, like for real. When it came to music videos, all of it. So I'm gonna have to lean on someone from the old school because my sisters are older. You feel me? So I had to listen to what they listened to. So one of the rappers that they listened to was Tupac. And I was like, oh, he sounds like, like crazy or whatever. Until I saw a video and I was like, oh, okay, seems kind of cool, right? And then I was so inspired by Tupac, I actually ended up, that's why I wanted to get a nose piercing. And I told my parents, I was like, yeah, when I become 18, I'm getting a nose piercing because Tupac. And I was like, what? And I was like, yeah, because, like this is what my sisters were. Like it was a whole vibe. So Tupac was definitely somebody that I had a crush on. When I got older or who I would shoot my shot with, like also, it's Drake. Everybody like Drake was like for real. And that is still gonna happen. I just want to put that out there. Like maybe he
Exactly.
comes to medical school graduation. I don't know. Like maybe he sponsors. Like
You
Drake, if
never
you're
know.
listening, you know?
Drake. I
Right.
mean, both very good looking men as well. I mean, they are Shamel. They are, okay? They are.
Yes.
These are Makeba's answers. Just these are Makeba's
You know what's funny,
answers. Let me
Makeba?
just
You know what's funny, Makeba? That we've had these conversations, even with like the Tupac versus Biggie. We've had that too, where I was like Tupac all the way, and she was like, "No, Biggie." And then so yeah, like it's funny because it's like full circle without you even knowing. So that's why she's so passionate too.
listen. Pot gave it up, but if you're definitely gonna do the comparison between the two, it's always Biggie.
In your
Um,
opinion,
but Drake is Drake. Drake. I had to give a little soldier boy. I had to give a little soldier.
Right.
Okay. All right. All
yeah.
right. Let's do something safe. Let me find a safe something to do that won't stop my heart. Because again,
Okay.
Makeba wants to go into gynecology and not, anything to do with shocking me back to life because my heart has stopped because her
Right.
answers suck. But uh, all
Hey,
right, Makeba, let's see.
tone it down. We need if Drake hears this, we need Makeba to be able to shoot her shot. With all this hate, you're not gonna help it. So I need you to tone it down.
Yeah, yeah, Drake. Yeah,
Next
if you're
question.
listening, Drake. If you're listening, Drake, the braids ain't it, pimping. Put them up. Them wasn't for you. And also, your fake Jamaican accent ain't it either. Put that away. Also, thank
No.
you. Please and thank
Don't.
you.
That's only her
All
opinion.
right.
That's only her opinion.
No, that is the opinion of everyone, which is why you lost the battle. Let's see. A question for Makeba. You threw me off with that, friend. I was not gonna think that at all. Let's go old school. Let's see where you go old school. Let's go deeper. Let's go further back. What is one of your favorite songs, old school edition? Think your parents.
Think my parents.
Yeah.
My parents.
Think your
Hey,
parents'
that's better.
generation, your grandparents' generation, your great grandparents' generation. Anybody but fucking Drake right now. Who? Please pick somebody good. Go.
Okay. Definitely Stevie Wonder was a vibe. Definitely Marvin Gaye, Bob
Mm.
Marley, because they play records here at my house, right? The Temptations, the Four Tops. So old school, I got you covered. Like I'm a very eclectic person when it comes to music. So
Okay, so what's your favorite old school song? We're gonna go R&B. Old school.
mm, and we say like are we talking about like Motown old school or oh you said R&B. So 90s R&B?
I think so.
Yes, let's go 90s R&B. Yeah, let's go 90s R&B.
Okay. So I would definitely say like I love TLC. Waterfall for real. I think that's so applicable today for many reasons. Take that how you take that.
Yep.
Just for the current state of the world. I would
Mhm.
definitely say I love 3LW. Like 3LW, like me and my friends used to act like, the little parts. Because when you're young and you're friends and someone's like the
Yeah.
singer and someone's the rapper, like I love 3LW. I was sad that they broke up. I would
Because you
definitely
was
say
getting sick and tired of the promises. Promises is what you
right,
said.
right.
No
Um,
more. Mm-hmm.
I definitely think like the 90s was like a vibe.
It
Although
was.
like I'm a 90s baby, like I lived through my sisters, like because they got a chance to really, be older when these songs were coming out. So
Hmm.
they used to bump. What else did they bump? Mary, I love Mary, J. Blige, all of her songs, all of her records. Yeah, I think I love 90s R&B.
Okay. I think we
Okay.
got a. I
Awesome.
think we got a
Awesome.
vibe. We got a topic. So since we're in the '90s topic, Makeba, this is important because there's only one right answer. But anyway, MTV or VH1?
Mm, wow. So I say because I feel pressured. I feel pressured. I'm just gonna put that out there. So MTV, I say I have a bias, right? Because also I grew up with both,
Mm-hmm.
right? I grew up
Yeah.
with both, okay. But then VH1 kind of started to fall off.
Uh huh.
Then MTV, like it's like a 50-50. But then if I
Yeah.
had to choose one, because that was the assignment, I'm gonna go with MTV.
I
I
feel
know
like you.
VH1 is like the soul vibes, but I think it fell off for some reason. So like MTV, and I think because I went to their thing in person, maybe I'm a little biased, but yeah, MTV was a vibe because it had like the video countdowns. You used to stay up
That shit
and
was
watch
good.
stuff. Well, I used to sneak. I used to sneak and stay up because again, my parents they didn't let me. They had I had to be creative to watch the video. Yeah, so I used to stay up when I used to fall asleep, watch the videos, be on the phone with my friends. It was a vibe.
Okay. Okay. I don't think that I was like, that's hard. I don't know that there
That's
was one right
hard.
answer for
No,
that.
there wasn't. I
It
was trying to
is.
be
That's hard
funny
for
because it
that.
was, but
Mm-hmm.
to be honest,
Yeah.
I agree 100% with Makeba, and I think maybe it was also like the transition and MTV got really creative when VH1 started falling off, and that's what
Yeah.
made me also lean more towards MTV.
Yeah. Because VH1 used to also be a vibe because they played like very
Yeah,
soul, Baduism, like you just in your zone. Like I was with that too.
yeah.
So
Okay. Okay. So this question, and I want you to dig deep in your bag a little bit for this one. Who is one of the most inspirational women that you have had the opportunity to meet, and then one that you would love to meet? So those two different answers.
Hmm. I would say, wow, what year was this? This was in I want to say this was 2017, so fresh out of college, and I had this grand idea. Again, I always have a lot of grand ideas. So my major for undergrad is communications and media. So I'm just providing this for context, right? So I had the opportunity to work in the field, do interviews, and this was when I was like on an independent contract for an event. And at this event, it had everybody like that was rolled out. It was Samuel L. Jackson, like just giants there, and I'm just like, oh my god! And I invited, my people actually have my friend serve as my videographer. My best friend was like sound production. Like it was a vibe. But I was so nervous because I was the only one, that was technically trained for the job, and I'm over here showing them. But to the outside, you would think that that was the crew, right? It was nice. One of the people that we got a chance to interview was MC Light, and I was so nervous. I was like, oh my god, like what am I gonna say? And I think it just showed because at first I was just like, how like you meet somebody and you're just like, wow, like you're really beautiful. You just get like you gotta focus or whatever. So I was like, I was excited. I was young, I was fresh out of college. Like I was like, wow, like I'm here with you. And she's like, look, just take a breath, ask your question, you got it. And I'm looking at her like, what? So like, take a breath. I'm like, dude, like, what are you talking about or whatever? I'm almost like, I think at the time I was a little red. And she's like, no, no. You got to, ask your question. You seem like you're a really, great, because I told her I was a student and I was just like talking fast. She's like, look, you're talking a little too fast. I just need you to breathe, right? You got this. Take a moment. I'm not going anywhere. What's your question? I'm here for you. Like when you're ready, we'll start. And that was so monumental, right? Because I literally was freaking out and I kept on tripping over like, just everything that she was. And within that message, she was saying, like, yeah, I'm human. Just take a second, take a
Mhm.
load off. You got it. We're here. Right. And I think that was something that was so like impactful for me because that helped my future interviews. Like it literally helped me for the people that I would interview for the future, right? The bigger name, like it literally instilled confidence in me. So I would definitely say shout out to MC Light. I don't know if she remembers me. I look a little bit different, but that was like such an honor to be able to take up space for her and to be able to like meet her, for that brief time, right? So that was great. I think somebody that I would love to meet, someone that I'm manifesting, but with intention, and I say intention because I think it's one thing to say, like, hey, I want to meet like this superstar woman called Oprah. But it's another thing. It's just like, what would that conversation be like? Right. Like, she's accomplished so much. So I definitely think like her, because when I think about someone who has built a legacy, opened up doors, right? Not just for women of color, but to provide platforms and spaces for everybody. I think that would be like a huge thing for me. That would be somebody that I would be excited to meet. I'm actually manifesting that. I'll keep y'all posted. I'll bring y'all along. Like, welcome to join the party, ladies. So yes.
Listen, I'll be your audio. Look,
Whatever
I was
you
like, I'll be
need.
your audio. I'll do audio. I don't know.
I don't know what you need, but I'll do it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I
shout out
love
to Light
that.
on that.
Yes.
LLYTE. Come on.
Yes. Yeah.
Because she's light as a rock. And it is beautiful because that is the person that she displays herself to be. So it's great to hear that you had that experience with her. So that's dope. So shout out to Light for
Yeah.
that.
It's cool. I like that. Well, you survived the speed round. I loved this one. First, it was just really cool.
You almost didn't make it.
You almost did it. Well, no,
You
she made
almost
it.
didn't
No, you
make
made
it.
it every time. But Makeba, Makeba, a few things. I know we talked a lot about International Girls Academy, and this is your spotlight to talk to our family and friends if they got even a little bit inspired or curious about International Girls Academy. Go ahead, girl. This is your time to plug in. What do you want our family and friends? Where can they find you? All the things.
Definitely. So our website and everything on social is the internationalgirlsacademy.com. We would love to have anyone volunteer, meet the ladies, pour into the ladies in whatever capacity that looks like. If you just want to browse us or just follow us, we appreciate that too. All the love is welcome. Even if you just want to drop your email for a newsletter, it helps, right? Everybody's welcome to the journey, to this party, and just most importantly, again, even if you want to repost and share the work that we're doing. So,
Awesome. And Makeba, as you know, because we have prepped you, we always leave our family and friends with a affirmation or a quote. So whatever is on your heart, feel free to bless the people.
sure. Wow. Don't get me started. I feel like in another lifetime I would be a preacher. But no. What I would say to the people, to listeners, to anybody in the whole galaxy, right? um, is a few things. I think one, don't let temporary defeat dictate the goal. Right. And I think that's so important today because we live in social media world where everybody's like, hey, get ready with me. And that's great. And I love that. Right. But understand that everything takes a process. And your process is not your neighbor's process. And that is okay. Fall in love with your process. I think one of the cool things about being 30, and I talk about it with my friends all the time from 20, because I'm like, oh, I'm old now, I'm 30. And it's just like, no, it's like really being in love with myself, like really honoring. And I think if I could leave that to anybody, yo, you gotta really, really love yourself. Because when you love yourself, it vibrates. Everyone else, like, right, you attract what you are. So when you love all of the lumps, the cellulite, because I got some cellulite. It's okay now. Next summer I will be we're gonna change that. But anyways, right through the cellulite, through everything else, understand like you're beautiful the way that you are. Again, anyone that does not, you don't vibe with them, cut the cord, and it's okay. It's okay to be with people who are your people, right? And I think that that's something that I think I want to leave with people. So if I had to like wrap it up, because I don't want to go all preaching on y'all. The first thing again, like, would just be to align with people who want to see you win. Number two, fall in love with yourself and fall in love with the process, even if the process is ugly, messy, confusing. Three, do not let disorganization or the fact that you don't have it all figured out get to you. Because I think as people, we think that we have to have every single detail figured out. And unfortunately, just, it's okay. Don't take yourself too seriously, right? And I think lastly, to always believe in God, right? Believe that when things are quote unquote falling apart, they're not, right? I think one of the things that I heard India Irie say is that everything that is quote unquote like going all over is actually it's an alignment, right? So when something doesn't work out, if you've lost a job, right? Because I understand that people, especially women, we're dealing with job loss, right? We're dealing with closed opportunities. Understand that that was God's blessing. And I know sometimes like it does not feel that way because people say I have bills, I have obligations, but understand like if that door would have continued to stay open, who knows what would have happened, right? Like, so that was a divine intervention, right? So I think like be okay with the divine intervention. Be okay with that, right? And understand that God, right, at the end of the day, is not going to set you up for failure. He is going to align you with success. You just have to have the heart, and you have to be open enough to understand that and trust in Him, even though it sounds easy said than done. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, like this sounds all great in theory until you have a bill that needs to be paid. But I want to tell people this, like, I promise you, like, as someone who has literally had to, work three jobs, in undergrad and literally make it happen, yo, it will happen. It will align. I don't want to say a miracle, but when you are aligned with good stuff, it all pours back. So that's what I would say to the people. I hope y'all was able to understand my messaging because sometimes I know I get really excited and I just go all over. I just be hitting mad things off, but those are all the vibes I would give to the people.
She preached. She preached. Can I add that to your list of things you do?
Preach.
Mhm.
Preach.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
know this is not going to be the first time we have Makeba, or even who knows, we might have a few surprises out there. We might have more of the International Girls Academy coming into Unmuted very soon. So stay tuned for that. But Makeba, Thank you so much,
Mhm.
friend, because for making the space for us always. This is not even the first time, but there's been a lot of times that we've needed a word, or you are always reposting our stuff, and I'm like, girl, I see you. Like, you're busy, but you're still doing the things and showing up for us. You are a very instrumental part of Unmuted. So thank you so much for making the time to be with us here
Yeah.
today.
Awesome. And thank you, ladies. I think, again, thank you for creating the platform, right? It needs to be more positivity, and positivity needs to be highlighted. And for your viewers, please don't be lazy viewers. Repost them, support them, right? Refer them, sponsor them. And I think that's something that needs to be, echoed, right? And elevated when it comes to positive platforms such as this. So kudos to you, ladies, for actually starting. Like, that is so dope. It's so far to me, right? Because I love it. I cannot wait to hear this podcast in the next decade. I can't wait for, brand deals, sponsorships. I wish all of that for y'all because I know that it's gonna happen. And it's like the best has yet to come. So I'm really, really excited for the both of you for not only shooting your shot, but actually like making the shot. So kudos.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
that was it. Shooting a shot and making it. Go off. Females in sports. Females in sports. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All right, close us out, Z. Close us out, Gear.
All right, friends. So we just had an amazing episode with our girl Makeba with the International Girls Academy. Make sure you check them out. It doesn't take but a minute to go check them out or hit a follow or do something. So thank you so much, Makeba, for being here. Shout out to all of our girls in the International Girls Academy. We love ya. We'll see you soon. And don't forget to always, always, always stay unmuted. Until next time. Bye.
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 Don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe. And always staying unmuted.